New York, in the city of dreams.
Man, what's going on? It's Jay Ellis from Nick of Time Show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And dogs, shout out to my guys Ryan G and Lee Escobedo for being here for this horrible news. Obi Toppin is gone, man. Obi Toppin has been traded from the Knicks to the Indiana Pacers for 2 second-round picks. And I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt. We've all seen this coming since Julius Randle's revigoration of his season. We all kind of saw like somebody had to go at some point, and it was looking like Obi Toppin. So even though I knew this day was coming, even though I saw he was only getting 10 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game, and his value hasn't risen, even though I figured, damn, you're going to get lowballed and only get like a couple of second-round picks, it still hurts because this man, when he started, he was a 20-point. He was giving you 20 points a game with efficient shooting. His 3-point shooting even went up when he got more minutes. The amount that we receive does not equal the talent that is going out the door. It pisses me off. And as much as I do back to front office and I accept the coach, this is one of those blemishes, man. This is a failure from this front office for real. And it hurts. It really hurts because it's gonna hurt to see Obi Toppin in Indiana. Lee, what do you mean? What do you make of this, man?
First off, don't fire nobody. Don't fire Tom Thibodeau. Don't fire Leon Rose. Don't fire World Wide West.
No, you're talking crazy, Lee. Fire everybody. All right, I'm emotional. No. They're not doing. Nobody, Lee. You understand? Nobody wants to trade nobody. It's been 24 hours. No one's been traded. Fire everybody. You're talking crazy. Okay.
Facts. lay off like ESPN. Lay off everybody.
Yeah, lay off everybody.
Right.
Be in the whole MSG office, dog. Everybody. They'll be World Wide West. Shut out the world. The dog, the cheerleader, the guy who mops the floor. Everybody. Spike Lee, sell his seat. Like, let's get rid of everybody.
I'm glad Elon Musk has turned Twitter into ass because I haven't been able to see all of the dumbass takes that have been going on Twitter. I'm sure many that all of us know. I'm not going to say no names, but we know of a certain Twitter users with the just complete back ass opinions on the Knicks right now. The Tibbs haters, the Leon haters are going off. They're having a circle jerk right now. And in my opinion, this is the worst move of Leon Rose's tenure as president of basketball operations. I put this on Leon Rose because he's the one that hired Tibbs. Tibbs mishandled Obi, mishandled his minutes, mishandled him positionally, mishandled him within his team with the offense, and turned him to basically a catch and shoot corner option for 10 minutes game, which is the opposite of how he should be utilized. It's a disgrace. The package we got back is laughable. It's the first time in the Leon Rose era that I feel like the Knicks should, and rightfully so, be laughed at for a move that they made. 2 second-round picks for a lottery pick, a guy that fell to us that we thought Cleveland was going to take. Cleveland ended up botching that draft pick, going with I forgot that kid out of Cleveland. What's his name? The small forward.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The dude who can't shoot, who was
Corro. Isaac Corro.
Yeah.
Obi, we don't have to move up. We don't have to trade assets. Obi falls to us, thinking he's going to be the replacement for Julius Randle. Randle at that time needed to be replaced with a younger, more athletic version of himself. And then who would have known? Randle turns into an All-NBA, All-Star, most improved player in the NBA. 20-10-5, nightly basis. Like he's great. Top 3 power forward in the NBA. I don't fault. That's not Obi's fault. No. And that's not Randall's fault. That's just a situation. What bothers me isn't even the trade. It's the timing. Leon not knowing when to sell high and when to sell low. That's the nuance that he lacked in this, and it got us 2 bum-ass second-round picks that probably will never be used or will end up being used on some stash and grab player in Europe. Enough of that shit, man. We squandered this kid. He's going to go to Indiana, and it's a top 5 coach in Rick Carlisle, and he's going to ball out. He's going to give you 20 and 5, dominant season, playing next to Miles Turner, a stretch five big who can space the floor. That's a run and done team, man. We got ball handlers and playmakers across the board. You're talking about Tyrese Halliburton. You're talking about Benedict Mathurin. Bro, it's over. It's a horrible trade. It's a stain on Leon Rose. Don't fire him. There's only one stain so far. Kemba Fournier, easily resolved. This is a real stain.
Man, yeah, no, you absolutely nail on the head here. Only thing I would say is the thing that was frustrating me was there was no real opportunity to sell high because this man never actually got minutes. And that's why I kind of both blame a little bit of front office and a little bit of Tom Thibodeau in certain spots. Because I still believe the thumbs down Julius Randle year is the year that Obi Toppin should have got more minutes. And the guy who had more merit, the guy who was actually trying, should have been playing over the guy who was pouting in the corner. And to me, that was an easy move to make, an easy call to make. And Tom Thibodeau, didn't make it. Now, I get last year. Last year, Randall's playing all NBA. I understand not playing Obi a lot of minutes behind him. You can say that, maybe she played more minutes next to him. You can make that argument as well, but I definitely believe the thumbs down year was the golden opportunity for Tibbs to give him some more minutes and set a precedent for the team. I'm sorry, Ryan G. It's usually your time to shine. I'm gonna pass the ball to you, man.
Yeah, so of course, the both of you make very recent points. Here's my thing. I'm just gonna really keep it really simple. The Knicks front office, they botched that draft because first and foremost, a definitive decision should have been made. If you're gonna draft Obi Toppin, you should have went with Obi Toppin. You should have been like, you know what? We drafted him in the lottery of that draft. He's going to be our new starting power forward. Then you trade Julius Randle and you give Obi Toppin the keys at that power forward position going forward. By drafting Obi Toppin and keeping Randle here, the Knicks kind of put themselves in a hole where, of course, what happened is Julius Randle eventually became All NBA, All-Star, and then that made it difficult for Obi Toppin to get minutes. And then I think on top of that, the way Thibodeau likes his teams set up, Thibodeau is a defensive coach, and Obi Toppin is not really a great defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the reason why Tibbs never really gave Obi Toppin a lot of minutes like that, because of his defensive lapses. And then on top of that, it's compounded with Julius Randle becoming All NBA and an All-Star player. And then at that point, you have a lottery pick in your team where you're not giving him enough minutes, and then you're diminishing his value year by year. And then this is what happens when you finally decide. And you finally make a decision way too late, and you're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna go with Julius Randle, and we're gonna trade Toppin. At that point, you're not gonna get much for him back because you diminish his value throughout the years, and this is what happens. You trade a lottery pick for 2 second-round picks. Yeah. So it's definitely a bad move by the front office, and it was mismanagement of Obi Toppin. The decision should have been made that first year, where if you draft Obi Toppin, you should have just traded Randle and went with Obi Toppin from there on out. Or if you decide to stick with Julius Randle, then you draft somebody else that actually fits with the roster, where you don't have a player conflicted with Julius Randle like that. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, but overall, Knicks Twitter does need to calm down, because even though Elon has F Twitter over, I still got to see a few tweets, and there's a lot of Knicks fans out there overreacting over this. This is not a backbreaking move for the franchise. It's not like, oh my gosh, the Knicks have no way out of this, or whatever the case may be. And I admit, like, with the rumor that's going around with Dante DiVincenzo coming in, I do not like the idea of that, just for the simple fact that it's going to make the Knicks really small. And the Knicks are not going to have any big wings to really defend and shoot threes, which I think is going to be an issue, even though Dante is a very good, solid bench player.
He's 6'5".
And I think this is going to put more. Yeah, but still, like, I prefer like a wing that's at least like 6'7", 6'8", around that height, that can actually defend, shoot threes.
I understand.
But I think that it's going to put more pressure on RJ, and I think RJ is going to have to really develop over the summer, not only defensively but shooting wise, because RJ is going to be the biggest wing that the Knicks have, and the Knicks are going to need somebody who's at least 6'6" or so, which RJ's around that height, that's gonna have to defend these big wings because there's nobody else on the roster who's big enough to defend these guys like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and these guys. So I think it's gonna really put more pressure on RJ to really improve his game and be more defensive minded, and at the same time, shoot better as well. So it's a bad move by the Knicks to trade Obi Toppin for 2 second-round picks, and you're hoping that the hope is these picks that's come in along with the other draft capital the Knicks have, you're hoping that they can eventually maybe package these picks and make a package for a star player in the future. But overall, it's a whole botch job by the front office with how they mismanage Obi.
There's a philosopher that I fell in love with in college named Jean-Paul Sartre, and he has a famous quote that's used a lot. It says, "Hell is other people," and that is never more true than Twitter. Twitter is truly hell, and the people on it are hellish. And it's a perfect example of the two extremes where you have the guys who are like fire Leon Rose because of Obi Toppin, and then you have his bums calling him a Don. He's the best GM in the game. Like, he can do no wrong. He's perfect, bro. You have to be able to critically address in rational fashion when a move is wrong for the franchise direction and when a move is right. Obi Toppin is a blemish, but Ryan said it perfectly. It does not throw us off course on a path that we are on. It doesn't make us a way worse team next year because Obi Toppin was never really given the opportunity to be that much of a factor in what we do offensively or defensively. My real worry is Tom Thibodeau really has too much carte blanche on this team to play favorites. When you look at a team like Miami, they're a true meritocracy. The players who play the best and are the best for that series, they play that series. Spo probably has his favorites than any other coach. But, man, he benched Gabe Vincent in the finals and started Kyle Lowry. Yeah. When he picked the players that were best suited, you saw a moment where Zeller started and Kevin Love was benched. It didn't matter. He was like the best players that suit what he's trying to do in that matchup are going to play the most minutes. Tibbs is the opposite. Tibbs has his guys, and he rides those guys until the bones are ground to dust. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah. Well said by both you guys, man. It's funny. That was Leon's first pick, Obi Toppin, and I get the feeling that, the green pick, he's excited. He doesn't know, he's coming straight off the CAA agent. He's like, oh, who do I pick? Oh, sexy, flying through the sky. Garner's gonna love him. You gotta pick the guys who the coach are going to play. Like rule one. And I feel like Leon learned later on after the Kemba Walker debacle that you don't do that. Because now you've seen everybody who's come in there after Kemba Walker plays defense. Every single person. So he knows not to do that again. But that green that he showed in that first pick is why Obi Toppin is leaving the New York Knicks for 2 second-round picks right now. And it's ridiculous. And also, I don't know, man. Look for Sims, man. We saw Sims and Hartenstein playing some 4 or 5 last year when Obi was out. I'm not sure if they're going to go that direction. Sometimes too, maybe we might see some more Simmons minutes this season. I don't know, but that's something else to look out for to replace some minutes from Obi Toppin. But we can also definitely see some small ball with DiVincenzo as well. So it is what it is, man. Horrible. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. Got a little bit off my chest, but I'm disappointed, man.
My bro pick, my bro pick of the day is Leon Rose picking up Jacob Toppin, Obi's brother, just to ship Obi out of town. That is that. Can we not be a laughing stock, man?
Oh my God! I can't even defend it. The first thing when I saw that happen, I immediately thought of J.R. Smith. When J.R. Smith was here, and they drafted and they got his brother off the heap, and I was just like, man, like, was this okay? Are they trying to keep Obi here? Like, look, we got your brother, stay. Like, is that what they were trying to do? I don't know, man. Hopefully his brother actually turns out to be something. I don't know. But that was an interesting move, man.
I think Leon picked him up just so Thibodeau can have someone to yell at and yell the name Toppin.
Oh, get back, RD. We saw the sides, man. We saw the sides. Man. We saw Toppin all of a sudden yelling at RJ on the court. When is he even yelling at RJ on the court, man? He saw the signs. Oh, well. All right.
Yo, I mean, it's kind of hilarious though because now he got traded to Indiana, and I live in Indianapolis at the moment, so it's like I can actually keep tabs on Obi because he's in Indiana right now, which is hilarious.
That's how I felt with KP.
Yeah. One more thing I want to add, small detail. So shout out to Ian Begley. He retweeted something that said Obi Toppin deal leaves the Knicks with roughly 149.7 million in team salary, so they can use the full tax player mid level of 12.4 mil and remain under the luxury tax line, assuming roughly 4 million in unlikely bonuses in the player contracts are unearned. So I mean, it gives us some money for DiVincenzo. Essentially, this is a salary dump, and it looks really bad. And on another note, too, the new CBA. The new CBA that's being implemented is going to make it a lot harder to have a bunch of high-level role players now. So I feel like for the next year or two, you're going to start to see teams who have role players around the same level just starting to make trades. So like if the teams who are going to win championships really are going to be the teams who have a culture set and can attract players on the cheap, because it's going to be really hard to build deep teams after this year and next year, because teams are going to be under the apron. If you guys don't know, after you hit like a second apron, it gets harder to make trades because they want to have the players meet exactly. The player's salary has to match exactly to get that player
Right.
here. So it's going to be harder and harder for it to do that. It's going to be harder to make simple trades. So it's going to get rough. Like, we have a lot of young players here, and going into this, when you draft a lot of young players, what happens is you can't keep everybody. So it's gonna be a situation where Emmanuel's going to make money, Grimes is gonna want money, and you're gonna have to make some tough decisions. And that's why I knew, and we all knew that Obi was going to go, because he wasn't getting the minutes. So it made more sense to let him go. It still doesn't make it any easier.
I know.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
If we sign DiVincenzo to 12 million, I'm gonna be pissed even more.
We're signing him.
The 12 million though, that's too much. That's too much per year for him, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's especially because it's interesting. I don't foresee us making a big move this offseason. I think the Knicks are still trying to keep loose to get like an Embiid type of trade next offseason. And signing DiVincenzo makes it harder for us to make a move next offseason. So that 12.4 million might make it even tougher because of the tax apron rules and all that. So it's gonna get tough, especially when you start to act quickly in the mix, because we still have to end up paying quickly. Because I think giving the 12 million puts us in the tax, and I think quickly might get us over. I think I'm not a capologist, but I think that's the situation. So keep an eye on all those things, man. It's gonna get rough, because then after you have quickly that gets us over the tax, then you have to think about Grimes. So, and then after that, you gotta think about extending Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. Then it gets really tricky. That's when you're looking around and you're going, damn, like, well, who we gotta trade? You know what I'm saying? It's going to get tougher. It's going to get tougher in the next couple of years. So I'm just mentally preparing you guys right now for the tough decisions coming on. All right.
Speaking of which, trade Obi is going to have an effect on Emmanuel quickly signing an extension for sure. That's his best friend.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of already see like he's not giving a hometown discount, which is why it's even a big deal that Josh Hart gave us a short-term discount for 12.9 opting in. But yeah, you're absolutely right. To me, it's less even about Obi Toppin and more about he wants to start. So you already know. I feel like if he was starting, he might have more wiggle room to take a little bit of a discount. But because he's in a situation where he's playing behind another potential all-star in Jalen Brunson, like you're gonna have to pay me more to keep me here because I'm not in the ideal position I want to be in, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, and I just want to throw in something right quick. Well, I haven't really read, all the details regarding the new CBA as of yet, but I'm just throwing something out there, and I'm just wondering if the new CBA is set up to where it's something similar to the NFL, where in the NFL, the rosters are much larger, and there's a salary cap, of course, and they have a hard salary cap, and of course, you can't pay everybody on an NFL roster because those rosters are so huge. So what happens is teams have to really pick and choose who they pay, depending on position and how much those players are worth, or how, or whatever importance those players play a role with on the team. And a lot of times with NFL teams, they got to really build through the draft, because it's like, like we can't pay all these guys huge money, so a lot of these guys we have to let go and have them and let them get paid elsewhere, and then we just build through the draft to where those guys are on cheaper contracts, and you try to like build sustainability that way. So I'm wondering if the way the new CBA is set up in the NBA, is it a similar path these teams have to take now, where it's like, what,
Yeah.
we can't really sign all these big time role players, so now we have to put more emphasis on the draft and drafting correctly.
Yep.
So we can actually bring in young guys who's going to be on reasonable contracts and try to develop those guys into great role players that can help our team to sustain winning. So I'm wondering if the NBA is trying to go that route now with the new CBA.
I think you're absolutely right, which is why I think I'm gonna keep my eye on Phoenix Suns, who don't have control of their own pick for 10 years, and they're like putting all their eggs in baskets and guys who only play 50 games a year. So I'm looking at Devin Booker next year because I can see that working, and I can see that imploding. I can see that imploding. I don't know, man. I'm just throwing names out there right now. I haven't even checked the contract or whatever. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I need to reread the CBA because it's complicated for sure. But also, yeah. Also, if we don't, one more caveat, if we do not use that exception on Dante, we can use that in the trade. You know what I mean? So say we's like, you know what, we're not going to sign Dante. We're just going to use Miles McBride. We can, if we want a big star next season, we can give them that mid-level trade exception to match salaries. So for the Knicks, I feel like the Knicks were more confident in Miles. Maybe it would just roll the dice and roll with Miles, but I feel like they still want to have some type of talent sustainability. So I feel like they just like, you know what, let's get Dante, who can shoot threes and roll that way. But that move might bite us later on, but we'll see. You'll see. All right. That is our show. Quick one, hit a quitter. Please hit that like button and subscribe button, and we'll be back if there's any other news coming later. There's probably gonna be talking about Dante coming join the New York Knicks a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. That is our show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.